Hello, everybody. All right. So, welcome to the Mikestand Day. Of course, it's Friday. Um, it's Friday. Um, Today is Friday, August the um 28th. Or I'm sorry, Friday, Friday, October 24th, 2025. Sorry about that. With that being said, hope everybody's had a good week. Of course, we're going to give people a chance to come in before we get started. So now what we're going to do, of course, is we're going to wait on wait to see if people show up. Well, they did have a chance to watch some. Did have a chance to watch. All right, we'll give people a chance to come in before we get started. Um, all right, so a friendly reminder to everybody, of course, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Um, and it looks like we are coming up on 3 minutes here, so I guess I will talk about what's on tap for tonight. So tonight we got three articles we're going to go over. The first will be from Bounding into Conflict, two others from Bleeding Fool. Of course, we're going to start off with some Trigun news as the recent remake that's coming out, reboot, remake, whatever it is. There's some news about Trigun Stargaze. They dropped their first trailer and confirms Millie Thompson's debut for anime remake Final Phase. Also, later in the also we'll be doing a couple articles revolving around some news coming out of Marvel, including Marvel, I guess, bringing another end to the Ultimate Universe, and Marvel Studios is apparently doing a comic book called Echoes. So I guess we'll be looking at that. Plus, of course, we'll also get all caught up on all the latest in professional wrestling. Look back to last night's Ring of Honor on Honor Club, as well as looking ahead to through this weekend's events, including tonight's SmackDown, tomorrow night's Halloween Havoc NXT pay per view, as well as tomorrow night's Collision. With of course tonight's SmackDown, as they continue to build towards next week's Saturday night's main event, and then we'll wrap things up with this day in each history. So, with all that being said, again, a friendly reminder to everybody: if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started then? Well, let me go ahead and pull up the first article of the evening here. All right, so Trigun Stargaze drops first trailer, confirms Millie Thompson debut for anime remakes Final Phase. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published yesterday, October 23rd. So it's time to lock, load, and grab a fresh bag of donuts because Vash the Stampede is saddling up for the final phase, quote unquote, um, of Studio Orange's Trigun anime remake, Trigun Stargaze. And he's finally bringing the fan favorite Millie Thompson along for the ride. Now that look right there, he looks more like Naruto to me than Vash and Stampede with that particular combination there. But anyways, first announced immediately following the season finale of 2023's Trigun Stampede, the sequel series debuted its first official trailer during the series' recent New York Comic Con panel, as attended by the series' original mangaka Masahiro Naitao, director Masako Sato, and Orange producers Yoda Shiratsu and Yoshihiro Watanabe. Anime, quote, Trigun Stargaze, unquote, teaser. Okay, so that wasn't. Per the series' official synopsis, Stargaze will pick up, quote, 2.5 years after the Lost July tragedy, which laid waste to an entire city and engulfed the whole planet in chaos, unquote. Meryl Streep, who is voiced in the Japanese by Sakura Ando, who provides the voice as Suzune Iseri in Girls Band Cry. Now a senior journalist continues her search for Vash, who is voiced in the Japanese by Yoshitsugu Matsuoka, who provided the voice Zanka Nijiku in Gachi Kuta. With her new younger sidekick, Millie Thompson, who's voiced in this version by Chika Ayamori in the Japanese, who provided the voice of Marco in Goodbye Dragonlife, and runs into Nicholas D. Wolfwood, who is voiced in the Japanese version here by Yoshimasa Hosoya, who provided the voice of Shotaro Hidari in Fudo P. Along the way, as plant robberies begin taking place once again. They sense Millions Knives, voiced in Japanese by Ryuji Sato, who provided the voice of Barca in Solo Leaving Season 2, Arise the Shadow, organization conspiring behind the scenes. Talk about a bunch of mouthful right there, huh? And again, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. I'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, continuing on here. Quote, meanwhile, Vash has taken the new name Eric's and is living in hiding in a backwater town when he gets a surprise visit from Jessica, a young girl with an SOS from the third ship they call home. He thus decides to put an end to a long-standing feud in order to protect those dear to him, unquote. Quote, just as the pieces of the story begin falling back together again, the planet receives a message from the far reaches of outer space. In smaller quotes here, we are a fleet of colony ships from Earth. Those who wish may accompany us to a new frontier. The entire population rejoices at the news. However, as if to mock their celebration, the one-winged angel returns to wreak havoc and despair. Fates collide to forge a final conclusion for the panicked planet, unquote. Perhaps most notable, in parentheses, and most welcome, unparenthesed, about these reveals is the confirmation that after her complete absence in Stampede, the series' beloved brunette, Millie Thompson, would finally be making her remake debut. Similar to the rest of the cast, Orange has made some adjustments to Millie's depiction in Trigun Stargaze, notably recasting her voice actor from original actress Satsuki Yukino to Chika Yamori, and trading in her long hair, broad shoulders, and signature cross-adorned cloak for a more sporty look. Per a personal recap provided by Manga Mavericks podcast host at Loom Ranma Yasha via their personal Twitter account, following the trailer's debut, the aforementioned Shiraso spoke to attendees about Millie's remake character, explaining, quote, Meryl's partner after she's advanced in her career, like in the original series. She's lighthearted and uplifting and brings cheer to her relationships, unquote. Additionally, Sato noted that Millie would not be the only female character to join the cast in Stargates, as, quote, another girl joins the team, unquote, later on. Though Sato did not provide further details as to who this mystery cast member may be. The producer admitted that he, quote, enjoys the interactions, unquote, between her, Millie, and Meryl. As of writing, Studio Orange has yet to reveal an episode count. However, they have revealed that the humanoid typhoon will officially make his return in January 2026. The same day simulcast set to once again be provided by Crunchyroll. All right, so there we go with that one. So there we go with that. Now we get ready to move on to the next article over at Bleeding Fool. And I'm going to go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back. As soon. So I'm going to put some music on for a moment while I'm gone. And I'll be right back. All right, we're back. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next article here. And again, I encourage both my, both my Rumble and my, both my Rumble and my YouTube viewers that if you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So let's go ahead and get started then. With that, so let's go ahead and get started here then. All right, so okay, so all right, so fans stunned as Marvel ends the Ultimate Era. Has the comic giant lost its mind? Article by Chris Braley published earlier today. So right now, a lot of people are saying that right now the Ultimate Universe is the one that is the one that's actually been the more successful. Aside from it's been more successful than even the mainstream line. Ultimate era is the one that I think is giving us Peter and Mary Jane back together as husband and wife. So, but let's see what in the article, of course, by Chris Braley published today. So let's see what's going on here. Marvel Comics has decided to shut down its Ultimate Universe next year with the release of Ultimate Endgame in 2026. Decision ends one of Marvel's most talked about lines, which had briefly given readers hope that the company still knew how to tell strong stories. Instead, Marvel is choosing to close the books on the one corner of the brand that seemed to be working. Fans first heard the news at New York Comic Con, and the announcement sparked confusion online as many assumed writer Jonathan Hickman, the architect of the modern Ultimate Universe, had been forced out. Writer Dennis Camp went online to correct the record. Quote, "It's not fake news, but it's a sensationalistic headline that misses a lot of the nuance," unquote. He explained. Quote, "It implies people are getting pushed out, which I don't think is the case." In brackets, Hickman just didn't think Marvel would be bold enough to do this. In brackets, he's very supportive of and excited for this. I know that for sure, unquote. Camp said the ending was always part of the long-term plan. Quote, "A lot of my run is setting up characters I hoped would go on past me," unquote, but said, quote, "But John was ending his run at 24. That was always the case. He was done. Peach, in brackets Momoko, or Peach Peach as I sometimes like to call her. Momoko is a Japanese word for peach. And Brian, in brackets here, Edward Hill, unbracketed, were both ending their stories when the maker got out as well. That was their decision, unquote. He also revealed that Marvel discussed new titles such as Hawkeye and even a Guardian series Before deciding to end it, in quotes, Camp said that choice was made more than a year ago. He denied rumors that the move had anything to do with political concerns. Quote, not because the books are, in smaller quotes, too woke, or because the main line is jealous, unquote, he said, adding that, quote, everything seemed to be coming to a natural conclusion, unquote. Even so, and this is, I guess, Chris Braley wrapping things up here. Even so, many readers remain frustrated. Closing the Ultimate line feels like Marvel walking away from fresh stories that briefly captured fan excitement. The Ultimates revival was one of the few things making Marvel Comics buzz again. And ending it leaves the company looking like it's lost a sense of direction. The Ultimates universe will conclude with Ultimates Endgame in 2026, a move that may mark yet another creative retreat for a publisher already short on momentum. Well, that one went kind of quick. Oh, we got one more article we're going to go through here. See where we're at on time of, well, as soon as I get up to that. 22 minutes, all right. All right, so we got one last article we're going to do here. And then depending on time, maybe I might try to find another article depending on how long it takes us to get through this. Or we may move on to the wrestling wrap-up. I'll just have to wait and see in terms of determining that once we get through this article. So Marvel Studios co-founder producing new version of Echoes comics from Aspen. Article by Avi Green, published today, October 24th. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Polygon reports David Mizell, one of the original developers of Marvel Studios, parentheses, which is now mostly merged into the rest of the Disney Studios and has become a PC mess. That's more of an opinion from Avi, obviously. An opinion that's shared by many, I believe, is working on a new version of Echoes, a comic that was written by the late Michael Turner and most unfortunately the awful Jeff Johns. And this is from the article that he's referencing. Marvel Studios founder David Mizell made comic book history with the official launch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2008. Now he's working to build a universe based on the works of Michael Turner. In parentheses here, best known as a co-creator of Witchblade and the co-founder of Aspen Comics, parentheses there, and Jeff Johns, in parentheses here, who went on to become president of DC Comics, parentheses there. The latest step in that effort is a new Kickstarter for the second volume of the comic series Echoes on October 21st. 3 days ago. Echo started out as a 6-page comic Turner and Johns published in Wizard magazine in 2004. It introduced Grell, a gliding feline humanoid whose planet is invaded by humans. If that sounds like Avatar, James Cameron was a fan of Turner's work and at one point was attached to adapt his ocean-focused series Fathom, unparenthesed. Echoes was accompanied by a poll asking readers to vote on which comic the duo should make next, choosing between two different previews. they narrowly picked Soulfire, set in a distant future where magic is being wiped out. Turner tragically died of cancer in 2008 at the age of 37. In recent years, Mizell has been leading the charge to revive the characters Turner created through a collaboration with Aspen Comics co-owner Peter Steigerwald. So now there's obvious response to what we just read. While I do think that it's sad Turner died much too young, I think it's regrettable he just had to draw the covers for Identity Crisis. And while he may not have done interior art like the overrated Rags Morales did, that Turner would accept the job, even Alex Ross wisely didn't, is still embarrassingly bad. That Turner once co-wrote an independent comic with Johns doesn't improve matters. Why? What if the premise is a subtle political statement? And then now going up back to the article that he's referencing, comic book says, excuse me one more time, I'm going to go off camera here one more time here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So let's get back to the article here. As the comic book says, Echoes was actually part of a 2003 Wizard magazine poll set up to decide Turner's next project. Since it was Soulfire that won the poll, the only previously published material featuring this world and its character Grell was the original 6-page preview. That all changed with Echoes number 1, volume 1, which was spearheaded by the team of Aspen Comics and Marvel Studios founding chairman David Mizell. And now Echoes is back with the anticipated second chapter and more involvement from Turner's other beloved franchises. In Echoes Volume 2, fans will get to see more interactions between Grell, Aspen, and Grace, and this is the first time all three of these worlds have been able to be in the same story. The cover above certainly reflects that, and we can't wait to see what the team has up its sleeve for the next chapter. J.T. Krull is writing Echoes Volume 2, which features art by Alex Canet, inks by Mark Roslin, colors by Peter Steigerwald, and lettering by Josh Reed. And that is obvious response to what we just read, and I guess in conclusion here. So what's sad about Krull, who penned one of the most repellent takes on DC's Speedy Arsenal, is that he's quite a far leftist himself. And while his stories for Aspen may be more readable than his mainstream work, they still need to be taken with a grain of salt. I just hope Johns doesn't have any ownership of Echoes, because it's bad enough if he has any investments in mainstream, and he was a horrible influence over the past quarter century. I'm sure Aspen has plenty of talented contributors, but as their employment of Kroll suggests, they obviously aren't perfect either. And again, Shane Turner tainted his legacy by drawing Identity Crisis covers back in 2004. All right, so yeah, I think there are times that Hobby just seems to get a little too whiny a bit here. Anyway, so let's see what time it is right now. $31. 31 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, I think I will just go right into. I guess I will go right into. I guess I will go right into the wrestling wrap up because because I do think we might be on that for a while because of course we have last night's Ring of Honor to go through to look ahead to tonight's SmackDown as they continue to build towards next Saturday night, Saturday night's main event. We have, of course, also looking ahead to tomorrow's Halloween Havoc pay per view for NXT as well as AEW's Collision. Seeing what more things are developing there in AEW right now. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and look at all that. And I'll look back to last night's Ring of Honor first. All right, so looking back to last night's Ring of Honor Club, coming from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, with Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni on commentary. The opening match of the evening saw Mascara Dorado defeat Angelico in a singles match with Alex Abrahantes in his corner. In a six-man tag match, Tommy Billington, Jay Lethal, and Adam Priest defeated the Dark Order's Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. In a Pure Rules match, as they continue to talk a lot about this upcoming Pure Rules tournament, women's Pure Rules tournament, Deonna Purrazzo defeated Angelica Risk. In a women's tag team match, Alex Windsor teamed with Yuka Sakazaki to defeat Aaliyah James and Billy Starks. And in a mixed six-person tag team match, the grizzled young veterans of James Drake and Zach Gibson teamed with Isla Dawn to defeat the team of Dream Girl Ellie, Bryce Cannon, and Leroy Shogun. In the main event, saw Commander with Alex Abrahantes in his corner defeat Griff Garrison of the Frat House, who had, of course, the rest of a Frat House gang with him of Jack Jameson, Cole Carter, and Preston Vance. Now, that all happened on last night's Ring of Honor. Let me check something here because I wonder if they have any big events coming up here in the near future. Well, Final Battle's not until December, so. All right, so anyways, getting back to Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get ready to take a look at what's going to be happening on tonight's SmackDown. As, of course, WWE is continuing their build towards next Saturday night's main event. On tonight's SmackDown, which is coming from the Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona, with Corey Graves and Michael Cole on commentary. Already scheduled for tonight in a tag team match, Ray Phoenix and Shinsuke Nakamura will be taking on the MFT duo of JC Mateo and Tama Tonga, who will have, of course, Solo Sikoa, Tala Tonga, and Tonga Loa in their corner. In a non-title match, WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton will be taking on Kiana James, and then and then Ilya Dragunov will be continuing the Open Challenge, I'm guessing, because he's set to defend the title against a mystery opponent. So that's what's going down on SmackDown tonight. Now to look ahead to tomorrow night's Halloween Havoc for NXT. And tomorrow's Halloween Havoc will be coming from the Finlay Toyota Center in Prescott Valley, Arizona. They're calling a PLE, basically, premium live event on Peacock. Signed for tomorrow night include Triple A's La Parca and Mr. Iguana. We'll be taking on Javon Evans and TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. As there's been an interesting relationship to watch over the last couple weeks here, as you have the TNA and NXT crossover stuff going on. In a match for the NXT Women's North American title, Zarya, who will be defending in place of the injured Sol Ruca. As it was announced this last week, Sol Ruca looks like she'll be out for a while with a knee injury. But Zarya will be defending the belt in her place against Blake Monroe. In a Broken Rules match for the NXT Tag Team titles, the Hardy Boys, Jeff Matt Hardy, who also are the current TNA World Tag Team Champions, among other titles, will be taking on the Dark State duo of Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox, with, of course, Cutler James and Shaquan Sugars in their corner. Ethan Page is set to defend NXT North American title in a Day of the Dead match against AAA's El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. JC Jane is set to defend the NXT Women's Championship against Tatum Paxley. In the main event, we'll see Ricky Saints defending the NXT title against Trick Williams, who's coming off of his recent loss of the TNA World title. So that's all happening on tomorrow night, at the Halloween Havoc premium live event for WWE. So now, let's go ahead and get ready to also talk a little bit about what's happening on tomorrow night's Collision. On tomorrow night's Collision, coming from the Boeing Center at Tech Point in San Antonio on TNT. Opening match is set to be a $400,000 eight-man tag match as the Young Bucks, as former AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, team with other former. Basically, this match will have three former AEW World Tag Team Champions involved. As you have the Young Bucks and FTR teaming up, FTR of Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, to take on Jet Speed of Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, and the Jurassic Express of Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. Tomohiro Ishii of the Conglomeration and the current New Japan Strong Openweight Champion will be in a singles match taking on Pac of the Death Riders. Mina Shirakawa is set to take on Tekla in a one-on-one match. In another women's match, Taya Valkyria will be taking on Olympia. Brian Keith is set to take on Ace Austin in a one-on-one match, and then the main event is set to be Griff Garrison of the Frat House taking on Hook. So that's all we got for the wrestling wrap-up. And I guess we could go back to look at what we have so far. I believe only 2 matches are signed for next Saturday night's main event. I can go back and double check that real quick. Next Saturday's Saturday night's main event, which will be taking place in the Delta Center, will be airing on Peacock. Right now, you have only 2 matches signed. Of course, Cody Rhodes is set to defend the undisputed WWE title against Drew McIntyre, and then in a match to crown a new WWE World Heavyweight title, CM Punk will be taking on Jey Uso. So, and I'm sure we'll hear about more matches being signed soon enough, as probably you'll have at least 1, maybe 2 more signed after tonight. Probably 1 more after tonight's SmackDown, for all we know. But we'll just wait and see. All right, so with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and now I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to now we're done with the wrestling wrap-up. I think I'm going to start to wrap things up by getting into this day in each history. History! So, let me just double check some things here. 2001, 2010, 2000, and 2000. All right. So, first off, we went back 25 years ago. And on this date, 25 years ago today, so let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So, first I'm heading back 25 years ago, and on this date, 25 years ago today, Pelswick would make its American debut, its U.S. debut, on Nickelodeon on its date back in the year 2000. So 25 years ago today, the animated comedy television series, based on comic books by John Callahan, Pelswick, made its American debut on this date back in 2000 on Nickelodeon. So, from Nelvana, basically from Nelvana and on the animation. So from Nelvana's Pelswick made its American debut on this date back in the year 2000. All right, and 2000 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice, and also on this date in the year 2000. Also on this date in the year 2000. Bones is He Wo War Chronicles, premiered on Japanese television on this date back in the year 2000. Premiered on NHK and BS2. So on this date in the year 2000, Bones' Hero War Chronicles premiered on this date back in the year 2000. The series is set within the Meiji period of Japan, following a small boy named Hiwo. The townspeople have lived simply making clockwork dolls, quote unquote, or karakiri for festivals. Karakiri, I guess, is the Japanese word for that. Hiro's father left the family on a long trip, and their mother has since died. The children live with friends. The simple life vanishes when the Wind Gang appears, destroys the city with their own clockwork dolls, and captures its citizens. Hiro and his siblings and friends, Shishi, Machi, Tetsu, Mayu, Sai, and baby Gyobu, in parentheses, who are exploring a cave at the time, parentheses, escape unharmed and embark on a quest to save the town. They take with them Homura, a huge clockwork doll that functions like a giant robot. So some mecha. So you have some mecha aspects. You have mecha adventure in that. So on this date in the year 2000, Hero War Chronicles premiered on Japanese television on this date back in the year 2000. Now getting ready to move on to the next piece of niche history here. Move 1 year ahead to the year 2001. And on this date in the year 2001, which was, of course, 24 years ago today, on this date 24 years ago today, Archie Comics Sabrina, the 25th issue of Archie Comics Sabrina, went on sale on this date back in the year 2001. I believe this series looked like it was based on some of the Sabrina animated series of the 90s. It looks like, based on the artwork there. Sold for $1.99, was 32 pages. On this date, year 2001, 24 years ago today, the 25th issue of Sabrina from Archie Comics went on sale on this date back in the year 2001. And finally, we're going to move ahead to the year 2010. On this date in the year 2010, as soon as I pull that up, of course, WWE held its Bragging Rights pay-per-view on this date back in the year 2010. It was held on this date at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was the second annual Bragging Rights event and featured talent from Raw and SmackDown. 7 matches were featured on the card. There was, I guess, some elimination matches. So let's see. The show opened up with the United States with a match between United States champion Daniel Bryan taking on Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler in a non-title match in which Daniel Bryan defeated Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler had Vicky Guerrero in his corner. In a match for the WWE Tag Team Championships, the Nexus duo of John Cena and David Otunga defeated the dashing ones of Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. Basically, the same 2 men will be facing off against each other next Saturday night for the undisputed title. On this date in the year, so Cena and Otunga defeated the Dashing Ones of McIntyre and Rhodes for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Let's see, what else do we see here? In a match for the Divas Championship, Layla with her late cool partner Michelle McCool in her corner, retained the title over Natalya in just under 5 minutes. Kane, with Paul Bearer in his corner, defeated The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match to retain the World Heavyweight title. And then in the penultimate match of the evening, in a 14-man interpromotional elimination tag team match, Team SmackDown, consisting of the Captain Big Show, Rey Mysterio, Jack Swagger, Alberto Del Rio, Edge, Tyler Rex, and Kofi Kingston, defeated Team Raw, captained by The Miz, R-Truth, John Morrison, Santino Marella, Sheamus, CM Punk, and Ezekiel Jackson, in a 14-man interpromotional elimination tag team match. And then in the main event, in a match for the WWE Championship, Randy Orton retained via disqualification against Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett won by DQ, therefore did not win the title against John Cena. So in the order of elimination, the first elimination took place as Tyler Rex eliminated Santino Marella with a backbreaker rack dropped into a DDT move. And then Sheamus used the high cross to eliminate Kofi Kingston. John Morrison hit the Starship Pain on Jack Swagger to eliminate him. Sheamus utilized the Brogue Kick to knock out Tyler Rex. The Big Show was counted out. The Big Show and Sheamus were both counted out. Edge then eliminated R-Truth with a spear, followed by John Morrison. Then Alberto Del Rio was eliminated by CM Punk with a backslide. CM Punk was then eliminated by Rey Mysterio with the 619. Rey Mysterio followed up with another 619 to Ezekiel Jackson to eliminate him. And then Edge speared Miz to finish the match off. Team SmackDown with the winning the match. Edge and Rey Mysterio were the survivors. All right. So with that being said, I thank everybody for being here tonight. So of course, we'll be back here on Monday with more niche news. Also, don't forget this Sunday, I'll be joined by Apex from Apex Comics, as we'll be taking a look back at comics that went on sale in July of 1940. We will be looking at comics. We'll be starting our coverage of comic books that went on sale in July of 1940. DC will be reading, of course, from Batman #2, with which the Joker and the first published appearance of the Joker and Catwoman meeting. They previously had already debuted individually, but now it'll be the first time they'll actually meet in a comic book. Also be reading we'll be reading from, of course, All American Comics number 18, introducing everybody to Irene Miller, Alan Scott's first love interest. be introducing guys to her. We'll be looking at the introduction of Jimmy Martin and the Minutemen of America in Adventure Comics number number 53, and of course, as depending upon how fast we get through those, we might also include Tex Thompson's story, him taking on the Gora once again, Johnny Thunder story, Dr. Fate. So much to look forward to and all that. But basically, the first three, I believe, we'll probably get through most likely. Maybe a fourth one, depending on how much time we use. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And with that, I will see you all on Sunday. Bye.